Most men think they understand women. They believe attraction comes down to wealth, fame, or looks. But that belief is the very thing that keeps them losing, because attraction, intimacy, and desire do not operate on the surface. They move according to deeper, hidden laws, rules that women may never say out loud, but that guide their choices with absolute precision. Machiavelli, the master strategist of power, understood this centuries ago. He wrote that the world is ruled not by appearances, but by hidden forces beneath them. The same principle applies here. A woman may smile politely, may act impressed by status or charm, but what determines whether she gives herself to a man happens far below the surface. If you don't understand these laws, you'll keep chasing while less impressive men win without effort. But if you do understand them, you'll stop asking, stop negotiating, and instead become the man she feels compelled to surrender to, without you ever needing to beg for it. Today, we'll uncover the 4 hidden reasons women give themselves to some men and reject others. These truths are psychological, biological, and timeless. By the end, you'll see why she trusts one man with her deepest vulnerability, while another, more handsome or wealthy, is ignored. Before we dive in, hit subscribe button, because the truths you'll discover here, you won't hear anywhere else. Let's break it down. 1. Emotional security. A woman's body does not yield to money, compliments, or persistence. It yields when she feels safe, safe not only physically, but emotionally. Think about it. For a woman, intimacy is not casual. It is the ultimate exposure. She is handing you her body, her reputation, sometimes even her future. Her instincts are asking, can I trust this man with my vulnerability? Can he hold me without collapsing? Can I be myself without regret? Most men misunderstand safety. They think it means being agreeable, available, endlessly nice. But that does the opposite. A man who bends too easily, who fears disapproval, who is desperate to please, signals instability. And instability feels dangerous. Real safety is not softness. It is solidity. It is the quiet confidence of a man who does not panic under pressure. The calm of a man who does not flinch when tested. The discipline of a man whose word actually means something. Imagine you're on a date. She tells you about a betrayal from her past. Many men rush to say, "I'd never do that to you." But that comes across as needy, desperate for approval. The stronger move is to listen calmly, hold her story without judgment, and stay unshaken. Her body relaxes because she feels that you can hold her emotions without breaking. Or picture this: she throws a sarcastic jab, a little test. Most men argue, defend, or apologize for things they didn't even do. But the man who stays composed, maybe flips it back with humor, shows her something rare, unshakable confidence. And in that moment, she feels paradoxically safe, because she knows his masculinity won't crumble under pressure. Machiavelli wrote, "It is not necessary for a prince to keep his word, but it is necessary that he appear unshakable." The principle is the same. Power and intimacy are not built on declarations. They are built on presence. Your move is this: build consistency, composure, and respect for boundaries. Consistency means you do what you say. Composure means you never let her storms unbalance you. Respect means you hold her vulnerability carefully, without exploiting it. Do this, and her instincts answer for her. She doesn't wonder if she can trust you, she feels it. And when she feels it, intimacy flows. This is why emotional security is the first hidden reason behind true attraction. Because at her core, a woman is not looking for the loudest man in the room, nor the richest, nor the most charming. She is searching for the one who can anchor her storm. When life tests her, can she lean on you? When she doubts herself, can you stand steady? That is the silent question running beneath every interaction. And most men fail, not because they are weak in body, but because they are weak in spirit. They overreact, they crumble, they beg. But the man who cultivates inner strength, discipline, and calm presence becomes rare. Rare men are magnetic. Rare men do not need to convince, they simply are. And when a woman senses that, her walls come down. She no longer guards herself out of fear. She chooses to surrender, not because you demanded it, but because she knows she is safe in your gravity. 2. Emotional intensity. Desire is not born in comfort. It is born in tension. Many men believe if they are consistently nice and always available, a woman will eventually reward them. But that's a lie. Predictability kills attraction. If she can read you like an open book, she may like you, she may even respect you, but she will never crave you. Craving lives in emotional intensity, the highs and lows, the unknown, the moments when her heart races because she cannot predict what you'll do next. Biology proves this. When emotions spike, the body releases chemicals that bond her to the source of that intensity. It's the same principle that keeps gamblers addicted to a slot machine. Women become addicted to the man who can stir their emotions. Think of the women who say they're tired of drama but still run back to the man who challenges them, excites them, makes them feel alive. Why? Because intensity leaves a deeper imprint than comfort ever could. But let's be clear, intensity is not cruelty. It's contrast. It's warmth followed by silence. Playfulness followed by seriousness. Mystery followed by revelation. It's giving her something she cannot script. Imagine you're talking and everything is flowing. Most men would double down, showering her with attention, terrified of losing momentum. Instead, you pause. Let silence stretch. Suddenly, she leans in, curious, craving your next move. Or you challenge her perspective playfully. She laughs, pushes back, defends herself. That emotional spike is far stronger than any compliment. Machiavelli wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." Translated here, it is better to stir a woman's emotions, even difficult ones, than to bore her. Boredom is the death of desire. Your move: stop smoothing every edge. Stop fearing her reactions. Let her feel. Give her variety, unpredictability, contrast. Because a woman who feels nothing will never give herself to you. But a woman who feels everything in your presence, laughter, tension, curiosity, even frustration, will find herself drawn back to you again and again. This is the paradox most men never understand. Women do not fall for the man who gives them everything. They fall for the man who makes them feel everything. That intensity is what separates a passing crush from an obsession. It's not about chaos or cruelty, but about crafting an experience where she never feels numb. Comfort makes her relax, but intensity makes her remember. And in a world full of men who bore her, the one who awakens her emotions, be it through humor, challenge, or mystery, becomes unforgettable. That's why the rare man who knows how to dance between stability and intensity becomes not just attractive, but intoxicating. 3. Survival calculations. Here's a truth most men don't want to face. A woman's attraction changes with her life stage. It is not fixed. At 21, she may give herself to the rebel, the artist with no money, because her biology tells her she has time. Her survival strategy is exploration. She seeks novelty, chaos, adventure. But at 31, the same woman may ignore that rebel completely. Now her instincts push her towards stability, protection, foundation. Her survival strategy has shifted. What was thrilling at 21 is now threatening at 31. This is not hypocrisy, it's biology. Hormones, age, An environment reshaped desire without her even realizing it. That's why the man who was irresistible in her youth may be invisible later. And the man she once dismissed may suddenly become essential. Machiavelli warned rulers to read the terrain before making a move. The same law applies here. If you don't read the terrain, her stage of life, her current fears, her current needs, you'll always play the wrong game. If she's talking about travel, freedom, living in the moment, she's in exploration mode. Give her intensity and passion. If she's speaking about family, security, stability, she's in building mode. Show her consistency and direction. But the true master is not trapped by one mask. He adapts. He can be adventure when she craves it, and stability when she needs it. He is both fire and foundation, and that duality makes him unforgettable. Your move: don't fight biology, read it, align with it, and rise above it. The man who understands her shifting strategies becomes the man she can't release, at any stage of life. Think of it this way: attraction is not a single lock with one key, it's a shifting code that changes with time. At 21, her code values thrill. At 31, her code values protection. At 41, her code may value legacy. Most men stubbornly hold one identity, one strategy, and wonder why the doors keep closing. The wiser man evolves. He does not betray himself, but he sharpens different sides of his masculinity to meet the terrain. That is why Machiavelli's lesson is timeless. Power belongs to the man who reads reality as it is, not as he wishes it to be. When you learn to adapt without losing your essence, you stop chasing attraction. You embody it, and at that point, she doesn't just notice you, she orbits you. What most men never realize is that these survival shifts are not conscious choices, they are coded into her biology. A young woman can swear she will never settle down, but once time, hormones, and survival instincts shift, her desires bend toward stability whether she admits it or not. The rebel she once chased begins to look reckless, even dangerous. And the steady man she once overlooked suddenly looks like safety, like future, like survival. This is not manipulation on her part. It is nature writing its script through her. And here's the mistake men make. They blame women for being inconsistent, instead of understanding the law that governs attraction. The man who refuses to adapt clings to bitterness. But the man who studies these shifts plays the long game. He does not resent her biology, he aligns with it. He becomes the one man who can be both passion and protection, chaos and order, thrill and foundation. That balance is rare, and rare is irresistible. 4. Inevitability. Here is the final, deepest truth. Women surrender fully only to the man who feels inevitable. Every woman already knows what you want. She knows you want intimacy, but she will never give it because you asked. Asking makes you optional, and optional men are replaceable. She gives herself when she feels she has no choice, when her emotions, instincts, and survival strategies collide into one conclusion: this man is unavoidable. That is inevitability. You do not create it by begging, convincing, or persuading. You create it by controlling the rhythm, by making your attention rare, unpredictable, precious, by giving only when she invests, by carrying yourself as though your presence is a gift, not a request. And then, when you finally give, your praise, your touch, your presence, her body reacts as though she won a prize. She feels like she earned you, like she chose you. But the truth is, you designed the choice from the beginning. Machiavelli wrote that true power is not taken by force but by perception, by making others believe their loyalty was their decision. The same law applies here. Your move: stop asking, stop negotiating, instead, design inevitability. create an atmosphere so magnetic that her surrender feels like destiny. When she feels you are inevitable, she doesn't just sleep with you. She gives herself in a way no one else has touched. This is the essence of inevitability. It is not about force, it is about gravity. The sun does not beg the planets to orbit. It simply shines, and everything is pulled into its field. In the same way, the man of inevitability does not chase, persuade, or prove. He becomes so centered, so rare, so unshakably himself, that a woman feels resistance is pointless. Not because he cornered her, but because her own instincts betray her. She wants him, she chooses him, and in her mind, it feels less like a choice and more like fate. That is why inevitability is the deepest form of attraction. It transforms desire into destiny. When you become inevitable, you are no longer a man she chooses, you are the man she cannot escape. Understand this. Inevitability is not about being aggressive, nor is it about being passive. It is about mastering timing, presence, and scarcity. The man who is everywhere, always available, always seeking approval, loses his power because abundance kills value. But the man who controls when he appears, how much he gives, and what he withholds, creates an invisible pressure. She begins to think about him when he's not there. She wonders what he's doing, who he's with, whether she has his attention. And in that wondering, her desire grows. Inevitability is not about chasing. It is about designing the frame so that she walks into it willingly. That is the highest form of power, not to demand surrender, but to make surrender feel like freedom. When she finally chooses you, it feels like her choice. But the truth, you set the stage long before the curtain rose. The strongest men do not chase women, they make women chase the feeling of losing them. And here is the paradox. When you embody inevitability, you no longer worry about outcomes. You are not waiting for her decision, because her decision becomes predictable. You know that time, presence, and patience work in your favor. This is why the most magnetic men appear calm, detached, almost indifferent. They are not desperate for the result, because they trust the process they designed. And that calmness, that quiet certainty, is what makes surrender unavoidable. Inevitability means you have already won long before she realizes she has chosen you. It is not conquest, it is destiny unfolding in silence. You don't win her by chance, you win her by design. And once inevitability is set, her surrender is not a question. It's the only ending to the story. Now you understand what most men never will. Women give themselves not because of looks, money, or chance. They give themselves to the man who provides emotional safety, who stirs their emotions, who aligns with their survival instincts, and who feels inevitable. This is not manipulation, this is understanding, it is strategy, and once you apply these truths, you stop being the man who waits, asks, or chases. You become the man who receives, the man who attracts without trying, the man she feels compelled to give herself to, completely. Machiavelli taught that true power is never forced. It is simply undeniable. Be that man, and her surrender will not be a question, it will be an inevitability. Remember, attraction is not just about charm or looks, it's about power, presence, and control. If you master these principles, you'll realize something deeper. Women are not drawn to the man who chases, but to the man who cannot be ignored. This is not about manipulation, it's about awakening the strength already inside you. So ask yourself, are you ready to step into that role? Because the truth is simple. Once you understand this secret, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. At the end of the day, the real power lies not in tricks or games, but in becoming a man of unshakable presence. Women are drawn to the rare few who carry themselves with quiet strength, who don't beg for attention, and who know their worth without needing validation. This is Machiavelli's hidden truth. The strongest attraction is born when you no longer need to attract. Build yourself, control your emotions, and hold your ground, and watch how the world, and the women in it, are pulled into your orbit. And, when you stop needing, you start attracting. When you stop chasing, they start pursuing. A man who is whole in himself radiates a rare energy, the kind that women sense without a word being spoken. It's not the flashy car, the big bank account, or the perfect line. It's the calm certainty that you could walk away and still be complete. That's the essence of true power. That's what makes you unforgettable. So, the choice is yours. Spend your life playing the shallow games most men never escape, or rise above them, master yourself, and become the man she cannot resist. Because when presence is forged through discipline and strength, attraction stops being a question, and becomes your reality.